Nielsen's Law of Internet Bandwidth. Team Toe Excelsior by Adrea, Ryan Nealon, and Clayton Harkey. Gordon Moore was born January 3, 1929. He is an American businessman and co-founder and chairman emeritus of Intel Corporation and the author of Moore's Law. In 1965, he published an article in Electronics magazine stating Moore's Law. Gordon Moore made the empirical observation that transistor density on integrated circuits doubled nearly every 18 to 24 months, later becoming known as Moore's Law. During the 80s and 90s, users had to frequently upgrade from one processor to another so they could take advantage of the current technology. These days, the only practical programming constraint for the desktop is the theoretical processing time. Processors are cared about mainly in the gaming industry, but also for all kinds of other consumers. Growth in processor speed is chugging along nicely behind the scenes, but everyone else has moved on to the internet because networked applications are more engaging. Consequently, internet bandwidth is the new bottleneck for interesting applications on the computer, and it has been for a while. Jacob Nielsen, born in 1957 in Copenhagen, Denmark, is a leading web usability consultant. He holds a PhD in human-computer interaction from the Technical University of Denmark in Copenhagen. He's the creator of a significant amount of UI advice severely underrated by CS students. He made this point back in 1998 when he wrote about Nielsen's Law of Internet Bandwidth. Nielsen's Law states that network connection speeds for high-end home users would increase 50% per year or double every 21 months. This growth rate is slower than that predicted by Moore's law of processor power. User experience would remain bandwidth bound. The dots in the diagram show the various actual connection speeds compared to the red trend line, which is Nielsen's calculation graphically shown. Nielsen's law is similar to the more established Moore's law. Unfortunately, comparing the two laws shows that bandwidth grows slower than computer power. Moore's law says that computers double in capabilities every 18 months. This corresponds to about 60% annual growth. Average bandwidth increases slowly for the three following reasons. Telecommunication companies are conservative. They need to dig up streets and install equipment in hundreds of thousands of central offices, so they think twice before investing the necessary billions of dollars. Even after they invest, it takes time to update their sprawling physical plans. Users are reluctant to spend much money on bandwidth. If you buy twice as fast a computer, your software runs twice as fast. If you buy twice as large a hard disk, you can store twice as many files. But if you buy twice as fast a modem, then you don't download web pages twice as fast. The speed of the internet is a function of both the individual user's connectivity and of the infrastructure. You don't get the full benefits of your own bandwidth upgrades immediately, only gradually as the internet and host servers improve. The user base is getting broader all the time as mainstream users get online. These new users are more likely to be low-end users than high-end users, so the average shifts even lower. Design implications of 50% annual bandwidth growth. Nielsen's law addresses the more normal, high-end users who are willing to pay a premium but still want well-tested equipment that can be bought in a regular shop. Bandwidth is one of the two most important elements in computing these days, together with screen quality. But the vast masses of users are low-end, who will lag 2 to 3 years behind the high-end users. International users have even slower connections, and response times across the oceans will likely get worse over the next few years. Minimalist design rules. Starting in about 2003, high-end users will have speeds corresponding to a personal T1 line. This will allow them to download pages in less than a second, meaning that they will be able to navigate the web freely. The user experience will become radically more gratifying with sub-second response times. Of course, low-end users will be on ISDN lines in 2003, so high-end users' megabit access will still not sanction bloated design. Looking even further ahead, Nielsen's law does predict that the web will be 57 times faster in 10 years. At that time, even low-end users will be able to access multimedia designs, and the high-end users will be able to use very advanced sites. The future of the web holds great promise for much richer designs. Update 2008. In 2008, internet providers have increased connection speed to 16 megabits per second, compared to that of 1998, which was 122 the speed than that of the ISDN modems. Despite these seemingly large changes, a growth factor of 122 over 10 years equals 49% per year, incredibly close to the 50% per year as predicted in Nielsen's law. Update 2010. In 2010, internet connection speeds have increased to 31 megabits per second and are still readily increasing as predicted by Nielsen's law. Nielsen's law of internet bandwidth. Estimate your future bandwidth with the following link. Use this site to enter the years as well as the current bandwidth to find what the bandwidth will be in the upcoming future. By going to these different links, you can find more information on Gordon Moore as well as information on Jacob Nielsen's law of bandwidth.
Nowadays, we have really fast internet connection speeds of normally around between 20 to 40 megabits per second. You can check your bandwidth speed on websites such as speedtest.net and others to track it. There's also programs that are readily available all over the internet to not only track but store your bandwidth speeds so that you can view them on over an average time span. Being able to do this, you can see how your bandwidth is compared to Nielsen's law. Thank you.